Here we go. There we go. What's up, everyone? I don't know what just happened. The stream just shut down on me. But listen, I do this AFC East series, and now to the plate is Miami. Yeah, we know it's Miami and the Bills. We can love and hate at the same time. But I have a fan here from. Let I'm gonna let him just to do his thing. Go ahead, sir.
What's going on, Bills Mafia? This the guy French Laurent Don from Twitter. The guy you love or the guy you love to hate. Huge Miami Dolphin fan. Part of the Inside Leverage podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter. We also do have a podcast, Inside Leverage, that you can catch us, Inside Leverage Miami on Twitter.
Cool. So, how did you become a Miami Dolphins fan?
Oh man, that started in the womb. Born and raised in Miami, born and raised in Liberty City. As you can imagine, Liberty City is one of the more urban parts of South Florida. It has a bit of a history, a lot of great historic history to that point. But the Orange Bowl was back in the day in Liberty City, and that's where the Dolphins originally played, down there in Liberty City. And I remember being a youngster walking to some of those Hurricane Dolphin games down at the old Orange Bowl before they moved into northern Miami, which is Carroll City. Miami Gardens now where they're currently at right now. So grew up watching the Dolphins. My family got affiliation with the McDuffie. Shout out to the McDuffies, OJ McDuffie.
Okay.
Dolphins. So that was always, claim to fame with the McDuffies down in South Florida. So, just grew up a South Florida fan, watching all my teams. The Dolphins, we had Marino. You all know the Marino, and kept back and forth, kind of with the Josh Allen back and forth. So,
right.
History repeats itself.
Absolutely. So here's a little story about me and me being a fan of the Bills. I was not born and raised a Bills fan. So my father had two teams. He definitely loved the Bills. We lived in Niagara Falls, which was like 15 minutes away from Buffalo. I live in Buffalo now, but so he liked Washington and he liked the Bills. Now I geared towards more Washington because of Doug Williams. I love the fact they had a black quarterback. So I was fond of his play and the organization, whatever. I mean, the organization now, who knows? But so I didn't grow up being a Bills fan. I'm late when it comes to the Bills and stuff like that. But and also too, I'm really not a Kelly fan either. So that's my kind of story when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. But I mean, right now I'm diehard. You can't tell me nothing about the Bills. That's my team. But before we go forward, I just want to move back a little bit. How did the season last year? Like, how'd you feel? Like, what happened?
I mean, like every season, you're able to sit and reflect. There was a lot of highs, some lows towards the end of the season. But, when I was able to look at what we did in the beginning of the season, it definitely gives me the confidence. Tua in the beginning of the season, MVP candidate, lighting it up, specifically the first 6 games of the season. When this offensive line was in there, when we had our offensive line, Connor, the guys were in there, we were lighting it up. As the season carried on, guys got banged up specifically with the offensive line, going through at least 12 to 13 specific offensive linemen and changeups in that line. So that kind of derailed the season. But I would say with the fall off, how we did at the end of the season with those 3 games, specifically the Buffalo game at the end of the season, it definitely left us with, let's just say we ready for the season to start here in South Florida.
I get it. I mean, looking back, because we all seen it on Hard Knocks. I'm not going to lie. I watched every episode because you got to know who your enemy is, right? You got to keep them close. So I was watching. At first, I was like, should I? But I was tapped in every time a new one came on. I was tapped in. I'm not going to lie. I just find your team fascinating because you guys have so much speed. It's ridiculous. And then you went out and got some more speed, which is crazy. Tell me about your offseason. How do you like it? How you like the draft? You signed Odell Beckham. How do you think that's going to go? And yeah, tell me about your draft. How you feeling about this offseason?
Well, we can start with the draft. What I will say is we've addressed. We have our two pass rushers, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Both had season-ending injuries towards the end of the season last year, and some Dolphin fans like myself will maybe attribute that to a lot of snaps that those guys were taking. We'll see how we're going to address that going into the season, but with us addressing that with Chop Robinson and Kamara in the later round, we got two young pass rushers that could give us snaps at the start of the season and not
Mm-hmm.
have to rush Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb back. Um, you know, we'll see what those guys give us going into the preseason. I love the draft. We also got a left tackle in Paul out of Houston, I believe. Great frame, 6'7", 315 some odd pounds. A behemoth amongst giants.
Yeah,
You know,
he's big.
see him standing against the team in the pictures, and he's the biggest guy on the team. He's out towering them.
Oh wow.
I like the depth in as far as wide receiver, the two late round picks that we added, the two Washington guys that we
Mm-hmm.
added as far as wide receivers are solid picks as well. So I like the overall drafting process. We did get Odell Beckham, and any draft picks that I'm not mentioning right now, those are key contributors that we're going to be using specifically for depth.
Right.
And we kind of address those draft positions for which were more depth pieces, which is why we faltered towards the end of the season, where
Mm-hmm.
depth pieces kind of fell off from maybe the high 80s to maybe the lower 70s, the 60s, which, when you got guys coming in like that, you're not going to be able to compete much in the playoffs. But Odell definitely be able to give us wide receiver 3 snaps. We're not really looking for much for him, and that's a great thing in itself. Being able to play in this kind of offense, might give him an opportunity to prolong his career a little bit more, because the snaps that he's going to be taking will be key snaps. He'll be very vital in the red zone as well. Mr. Third Down, I'm going to be looking for him as.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek being able to take the top off the field, and you being able to use Jalen Waddle on the other side, that should leave Odell Beckham with wide receiver 3. God forbid you put a linebacker on him, but
Right.
you put a wide receiver 3. Odell Beckham is better than any wide receiver 3 in the league. So, I mean, that's going to be a key factor that we're looking to take advantage of in the season. Specifically, the running back that we added from Tennessee.
Another
Right?
fast piece.
Oh my goodness! If you thought it's going to be an issue, and this is going to force Mike McDaniels to commit to the run.
I have a question with that too, but continue on, because I don't understand your head coach. But continue on with your draft. Oh man, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll leave it right there.
Okay.
With the key additions of the guys that we got, specifically in the draft and free agency, and it's not over yet.
Right.
We'll dig into it a little bit more into the podcast, but yeah, I mean, we're still able to do a little bit more.
Speaking of you not being done, before I go to Mike McDaniels, June 1st, it's right around the corner. Do you see them picking up someone, because that money, frees up some? So who do you want, and who do you think they should get?
I mean, anybody else specifically we're looking to add on the defense, maybe a Simmons for the right price.
We want him too now.
Now we got 18 million coming up in new money.
Right.
With the Xavier Howard money coming off the book. So that 18 million in combination, I'm the Tua contract is coming up here. And I know that's something that people are, anxiously waiting to see and scrutinize that contract. But that contract, from what we're projecting, could possibly net us another $10 to $12 million in cap space. So, I mean, give me a Simmons and a Calais Campbell. We're really big on Calais Campbell in South Florida. Hometown guy, played at UM. So if we could bring Calais Campbell back to get that depth piece at the tackle and maybe another safety piece, I feel like that puts our defense to be able to contend as definitely top 1, if not 2.
Right. So speaking of your defense, you guys lost some key pieces. So when you lost Christian Wilkins, right?
Yep, Christian.
Were like that was a big piece, and he plays besides what's the guy's name?
Sealer.
Yes, they played so well together. Gave us fits. Josh Allen's best friend, right? Were you shocked that it happened, or are you fine? Like, are you like this team will roll great without him, or just good without him, rather?
Well, we have an internal thing going on within the Dolphins community. Just we like to call them the left Twix and the right Twix. I like to say I was the leader of the Zach Sealer crew. No slight to Christian Wilkins. Christian is my guy, but I love me some Zach Sealer. I love me some Christian Wilkins. But to me, in my mind, is left Twix and right Twix, and with what they both were able to do, and I were able to go to plenty games away and at home and see them. I was able to kind of see the contract Zach Sealer got, $10 million for a season, and the money Christian Wilkins was asking for, which was upwards of $20+ million, where we offered him a fair contract somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, and he declined it, wanting to, get more of that guaranteed money, which is definitely guaranteed in his right.
Right.
To pay that. So I was definitely on the Sealer train of, give me some guys, because specifically for the reason at the end of the season.
Right.
And you need that extra oomph. Sometimes you might not get it from one of your key guys. You might need that from a rotational
role player.
And not even a role player, but just a rotational piece. Somebody's coming for fresher legs.
Right.
That can be able to execute on that key third down.
Yeah.
Because one of the things as a Dolphin fan we've seen is on key third downs to take the lead or keep the lead in the game on a third down or a third and long, or one of those key fluky plays, he's able to extend with his legs, and you got guys in there that are gassed from maybe being drove down the field. So, you know what I mean? Just add that extra piece, which we're able to do this offseason, and what we're doing is how we're trying to gear the defense up. So Christian Wilkins was a big loss, but what we're trying to do, and I call it the Jeep tire we're putting on back for the January.
Right.
Wanted to add another Jeep tire.
I got you. Now you guys are going to your third DC this upcoming season. So is it?
Yeah. Wait. Third. We can say third.
Okay. So how are you feeling about your DC?
I mean, from what I hear, him being a leader of man, from what I hear about his ability to connect with players, to connect with the people, from what I hear about him being a leader to where guys want to run through a wall for him, from me hearing how younger guys gravitate to him, and he's able to elevate people maybe a little bit more to play outside of themselves by, whether it's team football or just giving guys the ability to shine. From everything I hear from him, as far as being a coach, being a leader, being a developer, that's what I'm looking for specifically with this defense. I would say this defense specifically is more of like our junior year, kind of, if you want to use it as a term. So, these guys are a little bit older. So being able to elevate Javon Holland, being able to elevate the game of a David Long and a Zach Sealer and some other guys on the team, Ramsey, I feel like guys will be able to elevate their game in this system. So I'm interested and anxious to see.
What was the issue when it came to oh man, why am I this name is your old DC? Yeah. What was the issue?
To be honest, I feel like with Vic Fangio, he was one of those older coaches that were stuck in his way, specifically Kader Kohou. When you see him getting torched by, I think it was that wasn't the Stephon. Was that Stephon?
Yeah, it was Stephon, yeah.
See him being torched by
on an island by himself.
And you don't have Jalen Ramsey shadow him.
Yeah.
And Jalen Ramsey said specifically after the game where he's kind of told this is where we need you to be and just kind of do this. It let me know that Vic Fangio wasn't setting these guys up for success. It's kind of that older, do what I say, and we're going to live with the results. And either you could do the job or you can't, as opposed to some of these younger coaches where they're gonna put guys in a position to succeed and train them up along the way. You got a guy in Cam Smith who's a high second round pick who
Mm-hmm.
never sniffed the field for whatever reason, just was in Vic Fangio's doghouse. And when you had guys down at the end of the roster, you're bringing guys in, and you got a Cam Smith who's a high second round pick, and you don't go to him.
Right,
So it just
right.
lets me know that there was a disconnect. So
Yeah. Well, glad that he's gone for you guys. I mean, I'm for you, but for us fans, as Bills fans, oh man, he could have stayed around one more year. But
no, 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 no.
just kidding.
In
So
the league,
uh, so I'm hearing a little bit of rumblings when it comes to Mike McDaniel. Do you like his play calling? Do you need for him to give it up, or are you cool? You cool with
I
it?
love it. I love
Okay.
Mike. The rumblings you hear is like you say when people say he doesn't commit to the run, but within everything there's context, and people won't always give you the context on why he's not sticking to the run.
Mm-hmm.
Where when your starting center Connor Williams goes down, and then Win, which is one of your better guards, go down, and then you have Liam Eichenberg step in, and he's your center, and a lot of guys come in around him that aren't the guys that are, the starting caliber guys. And then you get a guy like Tehran that gets banged up. And then
Right.
the only really guy that you have really starting is your right tackle, who, thank God he played the majority of the season, but then even he was banged up. So, I mean, when you talk about the play calling and not sticking to the run, there's context behind it.
Mm-hmm.
At times he does get a little cute, with the play calling on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. But when you got a Tyreek Hill and you got the accuracy of Tua and the anticipation and being able to put the ball there, I mean, you're a genius when it works and you hit for a touchdown. You're a fool when it doesn't work. But
Right.
with the key additions of Wright, A-Chain, and a Mostert, and we got Wright to keep Mostert fresher, so he's ready for the back end of the season.
Right.
Being able to have some younger legs in there will give us an opportunity to be a little bit more balanced.
I mean, you are the fastest offense in the NFL this year and the last year, and who knows for how many seasons to come or years to come. I mean, when it also comes to the Buffalo Bills, though, it just seems like it's just a different monster. Like we go back and forth, right? Us as fans go back and forth. We sometimes nasty to one another. I don't like to go there. I mean, I know how I feel about Miami Dolphins. I think Cox said it best when he stuck his middle finger up at the fans. I'm like, okay, I get it. I so get it. But I mean, you've seen the schedule. You've seen how everything is lining up for you guys. Where do you see this AFC ranking? Give me your AFC ranking right now.
The East,
Just our division.
honestly, and let me
Be honest. I mean,
my
hey,
rose-colored glasses off.
I don't care. Be honest.
Honestly, the conventional thought, what everybody's listening to this is going to say, well, why are you not going to say the Bills when they're the champ? And rightfully so, the champ is the champ until beaten.
Mm-hmm.
This season, with the subtraction specifically on the offensive side of the ball with Stephon Diggs, and you all committing more toward the run, and your offense looked completely different when you all did get away from kind of the Josh being Josh and letting the offense flow a little bit more through the run game.
Mm-hmm.
It started to look a lot better for you guys. So when I look specifically at what we're trying to do, I'm looking. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to articulate this in a.
You're good. You are good.
Let me rephrase it this way.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you all have said specifically with Buffalo and the Dolphin fan is, and one of the things you mentioned now was the speed. And one of the things we get flagged for is we're not tough enough. We're not
Mm-hmm.
tough when it counts. That run game, which is how you all have leaned on to kind of write your offense a little bit, which is the element I feel like the Dolphins team is missing in the tough aspect of it. Because in December and January, one of the things you all say is when they know you're going to run the ball, you still got to run it anyway. So I feel
Exactly.
like that aspect specifically of our offense was a bit lacking, but that kind of is probably the secret sauce and kind of what I feel like what you all found in your offense, if that kind of answers that a little bit.
So when it comes to also too, I mean, I've heard, this, you guys, your team is a finesse team. And I remember the Buffalo Bills not being, we were called that as well. Like we weren't tough enough. Like Rex Ryan used to say, we want to build a bully. I feel like with this team that we have right now, that like Josh Allen is a dog, right? Like I was just talking to somebody about Josh, like when he came to his Josh moment was against Dallas, when he just said, I want to get that first down. I don't care what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it. And that to me was just like, okay, we got a quarterback here who's not going to take no shit. So, I mean, Josh will try to put the team on his back and win a game.
Right.
Doesn't work out all the time, but we see that dog mentality. And when he brings that, the team around him is going to rally and be like, oh, he's doing that. We got to bring it out.
So conventionally, it sounds like it should be Buffalo. But what I say specifically with your offense, kind of taking a step back with Stephon, with our offense being explosive as it is this season, I feel like we average somewhere closer northward of 30 plus points a game. In my mind, 32 to 35 is my number. That sounds crazy, but
it does. But
we average 28 points last season. I feel like with the addition of the running back room we've added with Wright and Odell Beckham, that's between them both, that's 7 more points.
Okay. It's going to be a beautiful season between us, the Jets, like, and I hate to just disregard New England because they're in this rebuilding.
They're think that everybody.
But also too, everybody. Yeah, but right, but also too. Listen, if that quarterback hit, it's gonna be problems. If that quarterback hits, this division, this AFC division is gonna be a problem.
The only thing with the Patriots though is people are just great. My thing between the Patriots and the Jets right now is people are taking for granted what we've worked and built over these last few seasons through fighting it out. They're taking it for granted. People are like, oh, that's Bill Belichick's defense, so it's just going to carry over. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay, so he's going to step in and be Super Bowl Aaron Rodgers. Where the season prior in Green Bay, prior to him coming there, he was terrible.
But
Aaron Rodgers was terrible.
But you say that it's just crazy, and you know it. We heard it all off season when it came to the Jets. We've heard it. We've heard like this is what they're gonna do. It's Super Bowl or bust. They got Aaron Rodgers. They got the MVP Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been MVP in the last 3 years? Like you said, before the injury, he wasn't that great. He wasn't. But trying to tell them that is banging your head against the wall.
And that guy's gonna come in, step past the Bills, step past the Dolphins, and do something that they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons in 4 years. And this is my thing. They are a 7-8 win team. Aaron Rodgers is not 6 wins. I'm sorry.
Did you see the latest? They giving him 13. Was it 13 wins? Yeah, they gave him 13 wins.
Aaron Rodgers, if they're a 7 to 8 win team, Aaron Rodgers is maybe 2-3 wins max. 2 wins.
I don't even understand how you can triple that. You doubled that rather. You doubled because I forgot they finished 7 and 10.
7 to 10.
So you mean
they're gonna double?
Yeah. I mean,
wait. How did day traders say? Let me buy a put.
Yeah, for real.
That's going down. That ain't happening. That's going down.
That's crazy. You got a Buffalo Bills fan and a Miami fan agreeing on this. This is crazy.
Hey, to kick a jet, let's do it.
Oh, let's do it. I'm with it. So you got finishing first, right?
I got the Dolphins finishing first. I have the Bills finishing second. I have the Jets finishing third, and the Patriots finishing last.
Okay, I like it. Listen, I'm going to switch it up. I got us finishing, and then you guys second, and then I have the Dolphins. Even though that defense for the Dolphins, of the Jets, they're good, right? Whatever, but it seems like they can be handled. So I just can't wait to play them. Of course, I can't wait to play you guys, and the Patriots is the Patriots, whatever. So, but let me ask you: a successful season for Miami is what? Fill in the blank.
A successful season for Miami is winning a playoff game. One of the things that if you're on social media, it's the only punchline left that NFL fans have against Dolphin fans, where you haven't won a playoff game in 20, 21 years, or the talk, or you haven't beaten winning teams, but we beat Dallas and they still don't give us credit. So there's always going to be the running narrative, but a winning a playoff game and making a deep run is a successful season for this team the way it's stacked, because this team is stacked to win now. And I don't mean the division, I mean win it all.
I get you. I totally get you. And I'm with you too, because I'm tired of hearing 4 Super Bowls. Every time we get into something, a back and forth. Oh, and so, yeah, okay, you got it. You got it. I don't even know if you were there or even born for it, but you got it. I can't come back from that. I can just insert. Now your next is, oh, you haven't won 4 Super Bowls. You lost 4 Super Bowls in four in a row.
Right.
Got it. But I really appreciate you coming on, because again, it's always healthy banter going back and forth when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. And to have you on to talk about your team, I really, really appreciate that. I wish you nothing but bad luck.
Hold on. Before you let
What's
me
up?
go,
What's up?
your view on the Miami Dolphins and Tua coming into this season?
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I thought Tua was not going to complete the season last year. I was afraid for him with that O-line. Keeping Tua upright had to be the most important thing for you guys to have a successful season, and you guys did it. I hate Tyreek Hill because he's just so damn fast. I love Waddle. I wish he was on our team, but the combination of those two and A-Train back there, you gotta respect the team. You can't take any team lightly, and you definitely can't take Miami lightly, because that team, that game that we had back and forth, I said because we had people over, I said it's going to be you. This game, the first mistake, whoever makes the first mistake is going to win. Because we were going back and forth. I was like, oh my God. And then when you guys did, I was like, there it is. But it's always one of those games like, oh my God, oh, we got to match it. We got to match the punches. So I'm not going to say I like your team, because I can't as a Bills fan, but I respect it for sure.
You like the game being early in the season, prime time?
I don't like primetime games. I hate primetime games, but I like it. I like it. I like the fact that it's on its own and everybody's going to be watching. I do. It's early enough, so I'm just going to take off the next day.
Everybody should.
Yeah, right. But because you know what? We're gonna get views, because everybody want to see Miami against the Bills. It's like whoever plays the Chiefs, they want to see that. You know what I mean? So yeah, bring it. I'm with it.
Sunday night in Miami, 8:00 is going to be epic.
Yeah, it is. And not even that. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the night game when it comes to your stadium, because everything looks nice. It does. It comes across really good on the screen. So I will not be going. I don't go to games because I have anxiety. But looking, man, the stadium is beautiful. It just looks like everybody is ready to go. And I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to try to make my way. It'll be my first time in Buffalo, so I'm definitely going to try to make the Buffalo game this season. So I'll
hit me up. I'll probably just come to the tailgate and then go home.
I'm sure. Try to pull up for the Buffalo game.
All right, sounds good. And LeSean's probably going to come, so you're going to meet the guys up there.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But again, thank you for coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you. If you have a pod coming out soon, let everybody know.
Yeah, if you do want to listen to hate some Dolphins content and find out what we're doing, if you're ever looking to see what we're doing, you can look at Inside Leverage Miami on Twitter and all social media platforms, Spotify, Apple, Inside Leverage Miami. I am French or French Laurent Don. I always say you can call me whatever you want as long as you call me.
There you go. Love it. Thank you again. This is Not Your Average Podcast in the 716 with your host, T. And we are out. I know you're not going to say go Bills, but go Bills. Peace out.